We're here today with Professor David Goldney, and David, just wanted you to tell us what your association with the Lake Cowal area has been.
In the late 70s, I went out to Lake Cowal with one of the local farmers who rowed me over the lake, and I do remember quite vividly the number of tiger snakes that tried to get into my boat, and which didn't really impress me all that much at the time. So that was my initial, the extraordinary beauty of Lake Cowal and seeing 100,000 straw-necked ibises breeding on the lake. And that's something which does not happen very often now. But my major association came with the knowledge that a gold had been found on the edges and surrounds of Lake Cowal. And I became involved in some of the preparatory work for the environmental impact statements, as they were then called. So it probably started about 15 years ago in earnest, and I've been involved with fauna surveys, assessments of the conservation values of the area, doing bird surveys, and with the Lake Cowal Foundation in trying to help set a charter for future activities to kick the Lake Cowal Foundation off. So what I think the great challenge for the Cowal Foundation is to really help landholders address this fundamental collapse in landscape function across farms. And in fact, it underwrites the Australian civilisation that healthy landscape function means a healthy landscape. And I think this is where the future of the foundation will surely head. And then associated with that will be the development of educational processes, the development of good educational material, and all that now is starting to appear. But I think the achievements of the foundation in, how long has it been running? 5 years perhaps? I think these have been quite monumental and outstanding in Australia. Can be partly explained because there's very little red tape associated with the foundation.
Do you think that the development of the Lake Cowal Conservation Centre will be fulfilling that role in the community?
I'm sure it will, and I think I didn't really ever envisage that educational role happening quite so quickly, but the opening on the 2nd of November demonstrates that it's up and running at some level, and I'm sure in the future it will build with probably more staff in an educational role, but it's beginning to complement much of what CMAs are in fact have been legislated to do, but it's doing it in a private capacity. But the educational role and the links with researchers and with practitioners is going to feed back to allow some very innovative educational work to happen from the foundation.
What do you think the Lake Cowal Conservation Centre's role will be in the community?
The Lake Cowal Centre, I believe, is a teaching area where we can teach not only environment but also farming, progress in both, and they're both progressing towards each other. So I can see there's lots of things that we can communicate to anyone who wants to come along and learn how agriculture and the environment can work together. Now, I realise it's just based at Lake Cowal and we're talking about the lake, but there are lots of other things that the centre does up there, and there are lots of trials going on around, looking at with stipe, with grassland farming and all this sort of stuff, that all this information can come into the centre and people can come along, everyone from school students through to local farming organisations, to environmental groups, whatever, to come and look at that combination of conservation and farming, where we can not only protect the environment but also make an economic and viable living out of it. And I think the Lake Cowal Centre is a place where we can bring people together to learn and teach about how we can work together as farmers and conservationists to improve the environment for everyone. If you say it's going to draw the community together, are you just talking about West Wyalong being a focus for the centre. Well, that's not the case. I believe it's a whole area thing, you know, with Forbes and Grenfell and right up the catchment and all these, where people can come and look, see what we're doing, see where we're going, understand more about the whole conservation, farming, environment balance and how we can get it. So I don't think it's going to focus just on the local community. I see it more as a teaching aid for the general community.
I see it as being a facilitator to bring people like scientists and whatnot, and who specialise in pasture production, health and well-being of our soils in particular, bring that knowledge to us, and for us to use that knowledge too. It's going to be very, very important in the future with climate change on our doorstep now. I think we're going to have to be pretty spot on our decision making, and I can see the LCCC being the facilitator to help us get through those times.
How do you see the role of the Lake Cowal Conservation Centre playing out as far as the wider community is concerned?
Oh, I think it's going to be excellent in the future, and it's already being used. The youth at the high school and the schools as a whole are using the Conservation Centre to really learn about our area, and they're going to be our knowledge for the future. So it's important that they get the knowledge as well as the farmers, and you know, there's plenty of people in the townships too. They can probably gain a lot of expertise out of what's on offer at the Conservation Centre. Let's face it, the catchment for Lake Cowal goes far beyond the boundaries of the Bland Shire, and it's up to the people in those areas, if they so wish, to use that facility and to gain the knowledge.
Well, the great part about that is it's involving the community, and it's involving our youth. I think that's a wonderful project for that reason. The local schools and the local youth are getting involved in it and being part of it. I think that's an admirable project for them. I think it's also a centre that people will become accustomed to coming to and listening to different ideas. And we normally, without the development here, that wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have had that sort of exposure. So it's a learning experience for the landowners too, to listen to different projects that are happening, and the foundation's in a position to be able to draw those people where we as a farming community wouldn't have those sorts of resources.